Yeah. Yeah, back in this.
Cory Holcomb reacting to Louis C.K.'s new Netflix special is interesting for a few reasons, but the biggest one is timing. Louis C.K. is officially back on Netflix with his new special Ridiculous, and whether people like it or hate it, that alone says something. Netflix was one of the major platforms that cut ties with him after his scandal years ago, so seeing him return to that same machine feels like a very public marker. Their exile period, at least in mainstream comedy terms, is over. He survived the industry punishment, rebuilt through his own website, kept his audience, toured, released specials independently, and now he is back on one of the biggest stages in entertainment. And that is where Cory Holcomb's reaction becomes very Cory Holcomb. On the 5150 podcast, Cory sounds almost shocked that Louis is back on Netflix, but once he starts talking about the special, he gives him respect as a comic.
But back on this shit I'm talking about with what comedians do, what comedians say. I turned on Netflix and I was shocked when I saw a comedian had a special on Netflix, because this comedian has been part of some real controversy. His name is Louis C.K. Now, he the type of motherfucker, he the type of white boy, if I ever was talking to him off stage or off cameras or anything, I had to tell him, homie, you can't play with me like that.
Yeah.
He throw the N-word around.
Yeah, I just seen that shit he did a few weeks ago.
Yeah, he throw the N-word around. But not, he wouldn't do that shit if we wasn't, if we was somewhere where it was just us, I already know, I'll be, hey, homie, you know, we're not on stage and nothing like that. You can't talk like that around me. And he'll respect it, because what else he gonna do? What else he gonna do? When we ain't in front of the camera or nothing like that, he gonna respect it. But this is what I wanna say. I was so shocked to see him on Netflix, because Netflix has had a policy where they keep away true headliners. And that might make some people mad, but this motherfucker is a true headliner. I don't give a fuck what you say about Louis C.K. Have you ever seen him perform? I was shocked. I was like, they let Louis C.K. on Netflix? He's a headliner, homie. I'm talking about these guys. It's some headliners out here.
They let him back fast.
He is. If you want to see something different, watch Louis C.K. on Netflix. Because he talking about, he say racist shit. He say shit about being with young kids. He say all it, and I didn't know they let him on Netflix. But if you want to see something different.
He calls him a true headliner. In Cory's mind, that means something specific. It means you're not surviving off a gimmick. You're not getting by on one viral moment, one catchphrase, one identity angle, or one industry push. You can stand on stage for an hour, maybe longer, and hold the room with material. That is the part Cory seems to admire most. He does not frame Louis as clean, safe, or morally polished. He frames him as a real comic, someone who can take uncomfortable subjects, drag the audience somewhere awkward, and still make it feel like a crafted performance.
Damn, he look bad.
Yeah, he look old as hell right there. I was laughing. I love it when I get a real laugh, because he got a joke about the old folks home. How you get to take your parents there and they just take them from you. He said you give them some money and they just take them, because there's nowhere else for him to go. You get what I'm saying? He's like, his dad was 89 and he was doing the shit when they wheeled him off. His dad was just waving him by. He's gone. You know, like a daycare, bitches take their kids to the daycare, but they got to come get them at the end of the day. These old folks home, you could just drop your people off there and wait. Y'all got it? All right, I'm gone. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was funny, especially the way he do it. I'm not doing it the way he do it.
I'm gonna have to check it out though. I mean, I will.
I'm gonna check it out. It's on Netflix.
Look, man, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I'm from.
Oh, you already saw it, Mom? It was good?
I'm from an era where headliners go there.
Yeah.
I mean, all this new internet shit where you get push up in a nigga fago and all these trendy motherfuckers talking shit about how a nigga move and putting labels on them. All right, I'm here to tell you, you can go watch your favorite comedian and then come to my show and you will see why the fuck my nuts hang like they do. I'm very confident in who I am as a comedian, and I believe this man is too. Now, I ain't gonna lie, he the type of motherfucker, if I was around him, I might have to check him. Not right off top, but if he ever did something out of pocket and we ain't on camera, I'm gonna be, hey, homie, you can't do that with me. But if you wanna see something different, watch his Netflix special. Watch his Netflix special. Because I'm telling you, man, I'll be waiting to see somebody riveting. Somebody funny.
Hell yeah.
He a storyteller, and he got that shit down packed, man. So I'm just saying, man, I believe Netflix gonna eventually come around, and they picked him obviously as one of the first ones to come around with, because this motherfucker ain't got no cake mix shit. It's all, oh shit type shit.
Okay.
Cory points to bits about aging, parents being wheeled off to old folks' homes, and other moments where Louis leans into uncomfortable storytelling. Cory even says he does not agree with everything Louis says, but he respects the work because it is not cookie cutter. That phrase matters because Cory has always been suspicious of comedy that feels too managed, too corporate, too careful, too built for applause instead of laughter. So when he sees Louis C.K. doing material that still feels risky even after everything that happened to him, Cory reads that as proof that the man is still a headliner.
And he's slick with how he worded. He got some shit about being with an 11-year-old boy.
Wait, what?
Yeah, watch it. I'm telling you that if you want to see a headliner work, this is a
But he
headliner.
was always a good comedian. I'm not taking that for
Yeah, he
sure
been
away from him, but I'm going to check it out for
Yeah.
sure.
I'll watch when I go home.
Watch this headliner work. This is a headliner, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a gimmick. This is not he got the numbers. This is a headliner.
Yeah.
And I don't know Louis C.K. Nobody prompted me to do this. I just was happy that I was like, when I saw it, I was like, is that him? They let him do this?
Well, he did perform during the Netflix, at Hollywood Bowl, right? Did he do Hollywood Bowl? Yeah.
No, I know he has a cult following, but when you think of comedy specials, why hasn't this dude been out there promoted as one of the comedians you should see?
Well, because he had his own, he was doing his own thing. So he's like you.
He was doing his own thing because he got caught up. He got caught up
before
in
that. It was before it, right? That's what I thought too.
He has his own server. So he does pay-per-view, which is like he has a bunch of specials that don't go nowhere else but to his server.
I understand that, but now he's on Netflix, which is the ultimate.
Because he said this was his last tour, though. That's why.
Okay, well, he could say it's his last tour, whatever he wants to do. I was shocked to see a real headliner on Netflix. I'm talking about, and that's not me dissing all the comics who's been on Netflix. That's not what I'm doing. But I'm talking about, I know headliners. A headliner is not a word you could really say. If you can't get them people an hour,
Oh, yeah.
you're not a headliner.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, I ain't talking about gimmicks. I'm talking about, to sit up there, you got enough bits to do at least an hour. And I'm not talking about a wishy-washy hour. You could do an hour. You really could do 2 hours. But you got to be able to do an hour to be a real headliner to me.
But there's also another layer here. Only a few months ago, Cory was dealing with his own controversies. Obviously, Cory and Louis C.K.'s situations are not the same, and they should not be flattened into the same thing. But from Cory's perspective, he probably sees a shared experience in being targeted, judged, clipped up, debated, and presented to the public as someone who crossed a line. Cory has been accused of going too far many times, and part of his whole brand is refusing to apologize in the neat, polished way people expect from public figures. So when Cory looks at Louis, he may not only see a comedian returning to Netflix, he may see someone who got publicly marked, disappeared from polite industry spaces, then found a way to keep going anyway. And for Cory, that probably feels familiar.
I mean, I'm saying, and I watched the man do it. Wait a minute, he got canceled for a minute. That's right, he did get canceled for a minute.
Yeah.
Because this is a wild boy.
Yeah.
He did way
You don't remember what he did?
out of pocket shit. I know what he did.
Yeah, his mom
I ain't
is.
saying it because
I thought
I'm
it
not
was,
hating on him.
Exactly, yeah, I feel you.
I'm not hating on Louis C.K. When you hear me talk about comics, you be hearing me say shit like they ain't funny. And what I said, it's the truth. A lot of these motherfuckers are not funny. They get through it. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna bring up a name. Fuck it, I don't give a fuck. I said something about our brother, I'm not dissing him, our brother, Dave Chappelle, before. And what I'm saying is, Dave Chappelle is not finna miss out on no money that Netflix is giving him if they're giving it to him. And I get that. But what I'm saying is, I watched Dave Chappelle's last special and I was in awe that he even allowed that to happen. But if you say money, the money adds up and makes sense. You get what I mean when I say that? You ain't gonna miss out on this paper. So yeah, get that paper. But I'm like, Faison was talking about it earlier. When you're a comedian, if you got a special every year, every other year, that shit ain't gonna be special. Unless you really are a dedicated writer.
Yeah.
You have to be a dedicated writer. And we all know most of these comics are not dedicated writers. In fact, I seen motherfuckers sit on a same routine for 20 plus years.
Yeah, me too.
20 plus years, he dropped the same routine. But I'm saying, like, a guy like this dude's Louis C.K., I'm not saying he's the greatest comedian in the world, but that's a headliner. And for me to give him his props, I know people gonna watch it because I'm not gonna say it just to be saying it. That's a headliner. He take you on a ride. Because I didn't agree with most of the shit he said, but I was like, oh, he's stupid. This motherfucker's stupid. This is why I watch comedy. I want to be shook up.
Yeah.
To Cory, cancellation did not erase Louis C.K.'s ability. It may have changed the way people look at him, but it did not take away the thing that made him dangerous on stage in the first place. And funny enough, I kind of understand what Cory is responding to because I reviewed Ridiculous a few days ago and I thought it was pretty good. Not perfect, not some earth-shattering comeback, but good. What stood out to me was that Louis seemed more mature than he did in some of his earlier specials. There was still the crude stuff, still the taboo angles, still the familiar Louis C.K. darkness, but underneath it, the special had this older, more worn-down feeling. It felt like a man thinking about time, death, embarrassment, family, shame, and the weird humiliation of simply getting older.
There's different comedy for different people. You know what I'm saying? Different styles, yeah, different variations.
Yeah, people
so.
say that, but I'm
Right,
a black man from the streets. It's not easy to make me laugh.
A lot of the online discourse has been mixed for a reason. Some fans loved it. Some thought it was mediocre. Some critics immediately returned to the cancellation and the misconduct that led to it. And honestly, that was always going to happen. Louis C.K. cannot release a Netflix special in 2026 and expect people to pretend the last decade never happened. His scandal is now part of the frame. Whether he addresses it directly or avoids it, people are going to watch the special through that history. But Cory is watching it through a different lens. He is looking at the craft. He is looking at whether the room is being controlled. He's looking at whether the comedian can still generate tension and release without sounding like every other safe, algorithm-approved comic.
Quite a few years ago, Louis C.K. was cancelled because of, I'm not going to get into it, but we all know it involved hands. It involved women. It was a big deal back in the days, maybe around 2018, 2019. Louis C.K. is known. He's talked about being a rather somewhat hypersexual individual. So it kind of made sense when it was revealed what he was doing behind the scenes. It kind of made sense. I remember watching his show, Louis. He talked about, addiction and, maybe like sexual addiction and whatnot. There was this one classic episode where Louis C.K. is sitting in a panel with a Christian woman, a Christian preacher, and he's talking about how he's addicted to, beating off. And that was a very, very funny episode. So when it was revealed that Louis C.K. had been doing certain things behind the scenes, I got to be honest, it didn't surprise me. He'd been telling this to us all along, so it didn't surprise me, you know what I mean? And some people think that maybe mainstream media and, you know, all the Hollywood studios, the television studios were going a bit too hard on Louis. Some people believe that he should have been given a second chance. But guess what? In 2026, it seems like he has been given a second chance. It seems like Netflix has forgiven him. So
When someone like Louis C.K. returns to Netflix after years of being publicly disgraced, Cory sees that as evidence that the work still matters. The bigger question is whether audiences agree. Because Ridiculous is not only a comedy special, it is also a test case for what comeback culture looks like now. How long does someone stay cancelled? Who gets to come back? What do they have to say when they return? And is being funny enough, or does the public now expect something more? Cory Holcomb seems to have his answer. If you can still do the hour, if you can still shake the room, if you can still make people laugh without begging for permission, then you are still a comic. The rest of the internet is clearly still arguing over whether that should be enough.